Good morning. It's Thanksgiving Monday, and yeah, I'm working. So I haven't filmed in a few days, and so I'll just get a little bit of progress. I've had a few setbacks. Anyways, I'm gonna kind of explain what happened in my last video where the tree shear fell right off my boom, and here's some of the damage that it did. That there is ripped, and same with the other one on this side. Not a big deal. It just requires I gotta cut it off and weld it back on. Still works fine. I already had the tree shear back on, so I'm just gonna work while I talk. Okay, so what happened, how my tree shear fell off, is this is a hydraulic quick coupler wedge. It's a wedge that slides in and out to have the buckets release, and you can get out of the bucket and then the wedge will slide back in. When I bought this machine back in June, probably 5 months ago, I was using it and I wanted to put the bucket on backwards, and I couldn't get it seated, and this is really odd. It wouldn't go on backwards. So anyways, I get out and I looked, and the hydraulic wedge, the wedge itself that slides in and out, it was bent, or it was fabricated not square, so it wasn't seating properly. And so it's not a Takeuchi product. It's an aftermarket third party that did the hydraulic. There's the brand on the thumb, Kotek. So anyways, Takeuchi come over, said no problem. They got another part from Kotek. They put it on, great. A new wedge. They put a new wedge on, and it seeds perfect. Bucket's going backwards, and that's great. So anyways, things are going well. So I get this tree shear. I bring the shear down here, and then I put it on, and then you see how I just started using it, and it fell right off. The line's blue, the oil's coming out. So Takeuchi said, "Yep, we'll be over." They picked up a new hydraulic cylinder from Kotek, and they put it on within a day. So our Takeuchi dealer, which is in Moncton, New Brunswick, they are excellent, and this hydraulic wedge system is not a Takeuchi system. So I'm up and running, which is great, and we put the shear back on. We hooked up the hydraulic lines. Everything was fine. The settings was fine. I had everything right. So now I know exactly what has happened. When we took the cylinder apart, it had a rod or a long bolt inside the cylinder, and when we took the cylinder out and apart, a bolt fell out with the thread on the nut and the bolt completely stripped. And so now I know that because the wedge came to me out of sync, it was not square or it was bent. I don't know how in the name of God you'd bend this wedge. Like, I mean, we're talking like huge thick steel. No signs of it being bent. I just think it was fabricated wrong. They just threw it on and just said it was just. So with that wedge being out of whack, I think the stress of it not seating properly on the various work that I'm doing on each bucket that I change, each attachment that I put on, it took its toll on the bolt and it stripped it. So I lose, I think I lost, I lost a day of work for sure, but I just went home and I got my other machine, but I lost, time for that. And then, anyways, it's not a huge deal, but there's a bit of a history going on, and I'm hoping that the company will honor and just replace the wedge. The wedge cost me $2,500 for a new wedge, and it's not so much the money. It's just that wedge was supposed to be brand new, put on the machine back in June when I got this machine. It had a manual, and there's no way I'm dealing with a manual bucket changing system. Like, there's just some things in life that are worth paying for, and that's worth paying for. So, but that's only a 5-month system, and it came crooked, and they replaced it honorably. Like, the company paid or replaced it. Now the company hasn't paid Takuchi, who picked up the part, changed the part for me on the wedge that was bent. They still never compensated Takuchi for it, because I was talking to the manager. So that's pretty shitty. So I don't know, they must have a process that they got to follow or whatever. But now I've already paid for this cylinder to be replaced in, and the manager said, if they come back saying, yeah, it's covered, he said, we're going to reimburse you. And that's fine. But, so here's the history. My 6-ton has a Kotek hydraulic wedge coupler system. And I'm doing a job about an hour away from where I live, and my 6-ton's hydraulic system, the wedge system, stops working. I was trying to change my bucket, and it just shut down. It wouldn't work. So I was thinking, oh, it's a fuse. So I ran back to town. I bought a fuse and changed that out. It wasn't the fuse. So I phoned Takuchi, and they were like, yeah, no problem. So they picked up a new system from Kotek. The tech come over, I think, the next day or 2 days later. But again, I'm an hour away. I had to haul the machine back home for the tech to come and do some work. I don't know if I went on to another job of some sort with a different machine. But anyways, I lost time there. I got it fixed. I had to trailer the machine back out to where I was originally and finish. But they had to change modules within this hydraulic quick coupler wedge system. And like I'm saying, my Takuchi 260, that's not a Takuchi product, not a Takuchi hydraulic quick coupler changing system. Now, Takuchi was servicing me, and they're excellent. And I will always stay with them for that reason. Like, they sell Komatsus where they're at too. I'd get another Takuchi in a heartbeat. I'd get their 15-ton in a heartbeat. And so anyways, so that's just a wedge system that failed on my 6-ton, and that was brand new. And I don't really have much changing that I do. I have my tooth-foot bucket, my trenching bucket, and my mulching head, and a straight tooth. So, and I'm very conscientious of the machinery. I need the machines to last me, so I'm easy on them. Maybe I'm going to chainsaw that. So then I buy this machine the following year. The wedge is bent, and now the hydraulic system failed. It opened up, dropped the shear, ripped the welds off the hydraulic lines, and yeah, I had a fairly heavy tree branch in it. I'm over a road, but my God, there's many times where I'm in my driveway trying to work, get loaded, get buckets and stuff like that, and I'm having to go over my fuel tank, over my attachments, over my truck, over my trailer. And if I had been in a tight spot and I was having that tree shear and I had to go over a vehicle or something, that would have been right through the roof. So yeah, it could have been worse. It wasn't. But I don't know what to do now. So I've lost probably, I just kind of mentally added it up the other night driving home. Probably about, I don't know, I've lost probably like 5-6 days. We're talking maybe 10,000, a little more of lost time for the 6-ton being repaired and the wedge Everything had to be trailered back home, except this time. The tech came right to me, which is excellent. You know what? Let's see if I can snap this. And so that's where I'm at with that last video of the wedge falling off. It's pretty wild.